Hello members, this is an update message for you regarding certification and credentialing. You'll be aware that since the KIA review in 2013, there's been a process of certification and eventually credentialing. Certification was taken on by the Royal College of Surgeons of England, and this followed a review process with the BAAPS and with BAAPS through a series of committee meetings known as the Cosmetic Surgery Interspecialty Committee. At the sort of 11th hour of those committee meetings, the Royal College of Surgeons set up their own certification course and process, and the idea being that surgeons would go along, undertake the course, submit a series of data, pay around £3,000, and then the Royal College of Surgeons would submit that certification process to the GMC, and the GMC would then credential the surgeon. The BAAPS has been fully behind this process and certainly the concept of this process, because we do need to differentiate ourselves, our members, from those surgeons out there who are practicing but not appropriately qualified and trained and don't have the appropriate backup systems in place. However, I for one have been critical of the Royal College of Surgeons offering because I felt it was cumbersome and expensive and wasn't really fit for purpose. I think many other plastic surgeons felt the same, and that's perhaps why there's a very small number of surgeons who have been through that certification process and who are working towards credentialing. Recently, the Royal College of Surgeons have recognised that their offering is not appropriate and not necessarily fit for purpose, and so they have sought to change this and update it to gain greater engagement from you, our members, and from non-plastic surgeons. As part of that process, the BAAPS did think about setting up their own certification process, but in fact now we are engaged again with the Royal College of Surgeons Educational Group to try and redesign the process and offer something else which is more appropriate. I'm very proud of the fact that I've represented the BAAPS and Mark Henley has represented BAAPS, and together Mark and I have been working with the educational team at the Royal College of Surgeons to redesign this process. So far, we have broad agreement that there can be a different entry point for plastic surgeons to cover the entire spectrum of cosmetic surgery, and this is opposed to anatomically limited other entry points for, let's say, ENT or breast surgeons. There's an acknowledgement that the process has been cumbersome, and so hopefully in the future we can just use the BAAPS audit figures or the FIN data rather than submitting completely new data. It's also hoped that we can redesign the course so there's an element of psychological assessment and some professional behaviour aspects to this course, which we can provide ourselves and not the MPS. Finally, it's hoped we can get the cost right down to below £1,000, and that this cost might be able to be supported by the indemnity companies. What's clear is that at the moment, what you should know is that we are part way through that process. We have not completed those discussions, and we're very lucky that it's just BAAPS and BAAPS who are in those discussions. Once we've agreed a new format, then we will invite the other associations to come along and hopefully agree to that and submit this new process to the GMC. And if it meets the GMC's benchmarking and provides the learning objectives that they're after, then hopefully it can be adopted. That process is going to take another 6 months at least, and so I don't think there will be a substantial new offering, a jointly badged BAAPS and BAAPS offering, until the end of 2019 or early 2020. In the meantime, the Royal College of Surgeons has continued with their course. They've slightly shortened it, and they've combined the submission process and the course together to one cost. They've also been in discussion with BMI and SPIRE, and so you may have received a letter from BMI and SPIRE if you work at those institutions, suggesting that you attend the course this year. There is a reduced fee for that course, but it's not the new offering, and it's still the old offering, as it were. If you feel that this current offering is the right thing for you and for your patients, then I would encourage you to go through that process. However, I think it's important you should know that I think a more appropriate process, a more streamlined and a more plastic surgery orientated process should hopefully be ready by the end of the year. Hopefully also the indemnities companies will be able to support the cost of that certification process and subsequently the credentialing. It's a difficult situation at the moment, and I don't want to announce too much without having it agreed, because the other stakeholders, as I said, the ENT surgeons and the breast surgeons, have not been involved in this process so far. But overall there's a recognition that plastic surgeons have been dealt a poor hand in a sense, because our previous training and experience in this area has not been acknowledged. And I think in the future this will be part of the process. And so this is good news, but I just want you to hold fire for a few more months until we have this process up and ready to go for everybody. If you have any questions about the certification process, then feel free to email me via the office, and I'm happy to answer any other queries that you might have. As I said, the current certification process is working, it is up and running, and it looks as if BMI and Inspire are going to support that. If you feel it's right for you, then you should do it. But hopefully there'll be a more plastic surgeon orientated offering towards the end of the year. Thanks very much.